Greetings and welcome to episode 138 of my Empire Total War Darth mod USA campaign. And this, how we left it last time, my friends, and we have finally, after years of battling to do so, we have finally taken Munich. It was a titanic struggle to take the city from the Germans, with that initial assault repelled with great losses on both sides. But that initial battle, our first battle for Munich, actually set the path, set the way for us to actually take the city. We sent in an overwhelming force here of troops that stormed the city and took it, finally ripping it from German grasp. And the last bastion here of German power in the west has vanished, has been vanquished. Now we do have a few German forces loitering around here, particularly this force here, which, although Scott's conscript, is still packed with a few Swiss line infantry and grenadiers here, which nothing to be sniffed at. Even mountain Jaeger as well here, but this is a force we're going to have to deal with quite promptly here. We don't really, there's this sort of massive dearth here of armies. We don't have anything in between Gdansk and Berlin. All our armies are either packed here, facing the Spanish, which we'll look at in a moment, and also we have a huge plethora here of armies here, at least 4 or 5 army groups here, facing what the remnants of the German forces, the last sort of bulk of the German forces here in the Balkans. We've also landed a strike force here, comprising of an army group and 2 supporting armies here, into just on the outskirts of Croatia here, into the Balkans. We're going to be moving against Sarajevo. We're trying to cut the base here, cut the base of reinforcements, cut the feet away from this sort of this armies that are sort of moving from south to north here. We have to get a firm grip on things. We're also dealing with the Ottoman Empire as well here. Now, although we were going to abandon Ankara, I think, and it was being called from the council to do this, that we actually start to pick away at these armies here. So we might, using these armies here, which have the freedom here to operate within this sort of western, northern front here, we're going to pick away and take these 2 armies here out, deal with them a bit by bit. We're just going to really take the fight to the enemy and bring about here the sort of the end of this sort of Mameluke Ottoman pact here, which is really driving a wedge here, but also we're moving steadily here towards, as you can see here, Baghdad. Now if we can take Baghdad, it'll be the end of the Mamelukes once and for all, and to that effect I think we'll actually move in here against them.
Commence!
They're not going to surrender, but we will continue the siege here. As you can see, they have those absolute dreaded mortars here, which are an absolute menace to us. They've also got quite a few Israelis here, Falahin musketeers, and also Islamic swordsmen who are absolutely brutal in close combat. But we're going to maintain siege here. We're going to bring this to an end here, my friends. Sorry about that, my friends. So now we have finally got Baghdad, and hopefully if we can deal with the Mamelukes, this will rid ourselves of a great swathe of the targets here you can see us. We might just focus upon the Ottoman forces here and deal with these forces here. Take the fight to the Ottomans, let them know that we're not going to stand by and allow them just to ride roughshod over us. Not a chance. And actually we can actually start to increase some of our production here as well. I think we might even increase this commercial base in here as well. We've got a number of armies here in the Middle East, which, oh look at that, we can actually start to build up some forces here, because we're going to have to move against the Ottomans in some kind of force, but also potentially move against the Germans in Russia, because remember, Germany still has a number of Russian territories under their control. We've got this force here, because we want to keep an eye on what's going on here. Let's have a quick look at what's going on here in Archangel here. Now they do have Cossacks here, so they are still building, creating, developing their armies here. We've got to keep a close eye on. Oh, that's a French. Now that French force there is in, of course, Karelia is here. So they haven't been against the Russians there, but we need to check what's going on here. So we'll probably use this force here to actually start chipping away at the Ottoman forces here. As you can see, that's a pretty strong. We've got Nizam infantry here. They've got the 24 pounders. Now remember, the Ottomans do possess wonderful cannon of technology. They really are at the peak of cannon sort of infrastructure and development. They really are a wonderful force for cannon development. Look at that. These really are packed with some very good troops here. We mustn't underestimate the Ottomans at all. I think we have to take the fight to the Ottomans. I think we'll start chipping away the Ottomans here. We'll actually move in against Izmir here eventually. As you can see, the Ottomans are taking a bit of a hammering, I believe, from the Germans as well. We've also got the Russians here on the Eastern Front. We are moving, as you can see, this army here was absolutely given a sound pasting here when the Russians initially moved in against us. Warsaw is currently still developing and reinforcing and replenishing these forces here. We've got to keep Warsaw on our side. We really do have to keep this. Let's replenish and repair that. We've still got these German forces loitering around outside Warsaw. It really is a concern for us. But many of the councils are saying that we should actually push in against these Russian forces and remove them from any potential future. Oh, look at that. Good grief, this army here has been absolutely decimated. My goodness me.
Make ready.
We're trying to replenish these armies as fast as we possibly can here, but this army has been decimated. I think we have to pull this army out. Because look at that, they've just been absolutely hammered here. Now, I think we'll move in. This army has got 2 cannon there. This is a good set, this is a good army. We'll move this army into position instead. I'm just going to close the ranks up here. Actually, this army will be dragged anyway. But we've got these forces here under General Kromer here, who are preparing to strike against Vilnius. If we can possibly smash in this sort of Russian defensive front here. And we've got these other forces as well, and we'll look at that. We're going to move in this army group here. Very powerful army group. It's going to prepare itself to move in here when the time is right. Also got these. Look at that there. What a wonder. We've got 3 US Marine regiments in here. Absolutely packed to the rafters here with guns. And also lots of cavalry as well. This army really is. We're starting to put together quite a decent strike force here to move in against Russia. But again, it all depends upon what we find here. We've got a spy here. We've also got these gentlemen who are going to start raiding behind the lines. I think we'll move them in here and start hitting and raiding these. Oh my goodness me, and all that goes with it, sir. You jest surely look at the size of the Russian armies here. That is staggering. Well, I could simply not expecting that. We need to see if there's anything else. We've got the spy coming in here as well. Oh my goodness me, they are absolutely going to be sending in a plethora of forces. They could even break through here. Russians are absolutely rampant here at the moment. We're going to pull out of here as well. That is staggering amount of Russian forces there. We're going to have to, we've got to deal with this here, but I think we might send in this army to deal with it here, and that's a powerful force here, but we've got to deal with these German forces here. We've got to start moving some of these forces. You can see we've got a lot of forces tied up with the fighting here around Munich, but now they have to be redeployed. We've got to start moving forces towards the east. Look at that Russian force here. That is huge. Vilnius will not fall anytime soon. That's 2 army groups with another 2 armies en route. They are sending everything they've got here to the front. I wouldn't be surprised they're not coming from Moscow and the Ukraine. To break Vilnius is going to be one of our toughest tasks yet, because they're going to continue sending these forces in. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a fight coming very soon.
Your orders?
Alas, the French are not going to help us here at all. We've got to redeploy these forces here. We've got to move at least these forces to the eastern front. I know that we might have trouble coming in from the Venetians, but that's something we'll have to deal with. If Venice comes towards us here, we'll have to use some of these forces we've got here. Let's bring everything back to full strength here. We're not going to be cast aside. We've also got Spanish force, another German force here.
Make ready.
Which I think we'll deal with. Let's deal with this force here.
Undaunted.
We've lost a few men here, but that's still... We've just laid claim to this here. Let's replenish and repair here. We need to make sure that all of these forces are coming back to full strength here. Right, let's redeploy. Now we've got this army here replenishing. We're going to move this into close into the border here with Spain. As you can see, Spain is absolutely putting in some very strong forces here, and the council is concerned here. Very concerned about Spain, as am I, my friends. I share your concerns, because these are very powerful Spanish forces here loitering around. Now there's nothing here. Let's check what's in Paris here, just to be sure. Yeah, very strong defences around Paris. I think there's 3 armies in here. There is indeed, sir. Yeah, there's 3 armies in Paris. So Paris wouldn't fall without a real fight. Let's just check a little bit deeper past here. Is there anything else in here at all? Not yet. It looks like the bulk of Spanish forces, at least in their territories here, are committed to this front. We've also got strong forces here in northern Italy, in Milan. Well, we haven't got the strength to move in against Venice just yet. We can contain it here. Now we've got Munich under our... Let's just bring all these buildings back up to full shape here. So we've got sort of full strength, but we have to... We have to bring these forces up to...
Yes, sir.
Right there, we've got to start redeploying these forces here. That there is okay here, but I think we're going to do is start moving this force here, this army group here. We're going to start moving it to the eastern front. So let's start that immediately.
Ready and waiting for.
So as the council has requested, we start redeploying these forces in and around the east and west. We've got an army group moving further east. It's going to take at least maybe another month or so to get to the eastern front. That's a long way to travel, a long way to travel. We've got to start improving what we've got here as well. We're going to start increasing our recruitment costs. And our recruitment. Here. No, actually we could use this here to join the defence of Prague. Oh, that's a lot of cannon we've got there already.
Ready for order.
What have we got here? Put these gentlemen in here as well. Let's start organising ourselves a little bit more coherently. Now Hanover is a place that many of the council calling we have to be careful of. Westphalia also, and Berlin also, with the council really is concerned what's going on here. And we've got to redeploy these as well. These armies here have to be redeployed. We'll let them just resume their strength. You can see we've got quite a lot of replenishment to do here. We'll make sure these armies here are starting to replenish. I don't know why this is lagging when we click on these armies here, which is a little bit strange. As you can see, we need to bring this up to full strength here. But will Spain finally push in against it? Look at that, minus 329. Is Munich going to be the last? Is Munich going to be the thing that tips the Spanish over into war with us? We've also got a war brewing here. Very, very big war, battle coming in here. We're even moving down the Marine Corps here. Look at that. The Marine Corps itself is moving into position here. And in fact, we might detach another gun regiment from this army here that's facing here and move into the Marines. We've got to make sure the Marines are fully...
Your orders. Forward!
It's more like it. And the Marines are going to be moved into position, and they're going to be the ones that strike into they're the tip of the spear. Redeploying here. We've also got stronger forces here in Vienna. We've got to hold on to Zagreb. There's a chance of Vienna, the Venetians might move against us here. We've also got these forces which we've got to move into position now, and we've got a very strong army here in the port of Ragusa. We've got to take Bosnia if we can and try and cut the path here for these reinforcements. That's a good army to do it as well. That's lots of firepower at their disposal. Indeed here as well. As you can see, these armies aren't at full strength in terms of the cavalry, but they are positioned at least to strike against what we can here. We might have to take some forces from there. I think what we'll do is we'll use the Marine into this army here.
Ready? Yes. At the ready.
I don't want to sort of cannibalize some of these armies here, but we've got to have the forces in position at the point of impact here. We'll take the 102nd Regiment here and put them in here as well. Now, let's move in here. Can the rest of these armies join them? We've got to make sure, yes they can. Let's move into position here. We're going to do this, let's do this properly.
Anything more? Ready for order. Yes, waiting, sir. Further order. Forward! March! Sir.
That's a big... We've got to take these fights here. Initially, I think we're going to have to deal with this army here. They don't have the cannon at their disposal that we have here. We've got plenty of cavalry as well. I think we need to move against this German force here and clear it so we've got a clear path to the east. I think now that we've finally captured this here, we're going to keep these armies in and around Munich just to make sure that nothing happens here. In fact,
yes, your humble servant. March, sir.
we're going to make sure that it is completely sealed off here and also guarded. That army needs to be replenished. We'll just sit them back here. We've started to move additional troops in here. We need to make sure we keep a firm grip here. So we'll put this army when it's ready here in the Tyrol mines, just to make sure we can block off the access they have through the Alps here. That's going to cause us a few problems. Otherwise, I fear. We've got to also strike against the German forces here, but I think we need to clear up some of the German forces. Well, we haven't done either. Is look into moving some of our forces from the homeland. Do we have any forces in the homeland here that are indeed, sir? Look at that. Oh, that could be a huge help to us there. Oh, we don't have the ship. We do have the shipping. I do beg your pardon. We do have the ships available here. But I'll take one of our ships here from the defense of New York. Remember, New York is where everything comes in. The amount of money that comes in here is extraordinary. And here as well, look at that there, and lose as well. That is absolutely unbelievable. The money we got coming into these two airports is staggering. Look at that, 51,000 there. And 81,000 comes in and out of this port here. That's why we've got to keep that fleet there. We will not move the fleet there, but we will take a ship from here. We'll take the Iris. That's going to be the ship that's going to transfer this army to Europe, which is what we also need here. Let's send them on their way to Europe. Let's go, gentlemen. Got to send everything we can here because we really are going to possibly be facing a massive battle. As you can see, we've got additional look at that, 23,000 coming in from here. Unfortunately, we have to deal with Britain one day. Britain has been a staunch ally in terms of it hasn't moved against us. However, it hasn't helped us in any way in terms of actually committing a military personnel to any battle. Anyway, right, let's do this. I think we'll take this fight here and clear this army because it is probably the one that poses the most danger to us. I know we've got this army here. But this one can be dealt with as well. That's very strong though as well. But we've got an army here that will deal with it. This one here. Right, let's deal with this German army here. Yes, thankfully, what have they got here? They outnumber us here, but that's because of the conscripts. They do have a little bit of a backbone here as well, but we've got pikemen, which I absolutely loathe fighting against. Right, let's take the fight. We've got to clear this. I know we're clearing the stragglers. We're not getting down to the nitty-gritty just yet, but we need to clear these stragglers here. There's also been a call from two council members, J.S. and Yuli as well, that we actually give, if and when we capture Paris, we actually give it back to France. And also maybe look for some peace as well. I know there's been calls for some peace as well to be with the Germans. Now I'm not sure if we made clear what we've got here and hold on to it. What does the rest of the council think about actually looking soon for peace with Germany? Maybe making some armistice, maybe giving our time self to breathe here, maybe move some forces towards the Eastern Front. I'm not sure what the council thinks of that. Should we continue the assault against Germans once and for all, or should we sue for peace with the Germans and see if we can gather a few months rest and respite from the battles with the Germans, and maybe turn our forces, well, not all of them, but some of them to the east, because my goodness me, I didn't expect the Russians to have that much in situ, so we've got to be careful what we're doing really there. But anyway, let's focus on the battle at hand here, and that's removing the last vestiges here of the German forces in the west. Shall I say in the east as well, because this is the battle in the east here. We've got a good complement of cavalry here, lots of cavalry here. Move these forces, these regiments here, these 3 onto the left. We've got 3 strong on the right as well. Look at this cold here, the brutal winter here of the east. It is freezing here, yet these men stand tall, sir. Unmoved by the weather. Discipline, gentlemen, discipline. It's key, critical, key to our armies here. We've maintained wonderful discipline. Now, I think we'll set as usual, and by the council has requested, we actually have cannon, the howitzers at the back here behind the lines, and then we have these gentlemen inserted into the lines with the regiment. We'll definitely have the US Continental Marines here in at the vanguard of the defence here, right at the front. Look at that. I mean, look at that. What a wonder. Look at that. If that doesn't bring a tear to your eye, my friends, nothing will. Nothing will. Now, I think we'll have cannon either side of these here, really sort of pushing the point here that we are going to be. Let's just put them. That's perfect. Perfect. We want them, as the councillors also recommended, slightly ahead of the regiments here, so that when they use canister, they actually don't shoot their own men at the angle, as you can see here. That's just about right there. Look at that, a robust defence. Now, we've got regiment of Fusiliers here as well, but we'll have the Fusiliers in the front, because these are effectively a light infantry regiment, and they can do a lot of damage up front. They really are a wonderful force. I believe we've got some good infantry regiments here as well. We have these gentlemen here on the right. These gentlemen here on the left. We don't have any real combat hardened regiments, as it were, here. Most of these are fresh from drill school and from the barracks. Got these gentlemen as well here on the left. We might even send out strike forces of our own to take the fight to the Germans here. We've got to keep the Germans on the back foot here. A strong defence, as you can see here. But I think we'll try and keep 3 regiments, and into that end we'll put the Fusiliers here, right in the vanguard here, because they will be. Oh, look at that. We'll have stakes. We'll definitely have stakes going up here. Now let's just take them off that. Let's just set them fair here. Oh, look at that. That's a wonder. And we'll just add 1 more regiment here on the left. That seems to be a potential weak spot for us. Oh, gentlemen, please. Gentlemen, look lively, lads. Thank you. We've got these 2 regiments here, which we might just send into the fight here, and have a strike force here on the left, moving against the Germans, just cutting into their flanks, which we need to do. Look at that, full cuirassier. 3 cuirassier regiments on the left and on the right here. We need to set these gentlemen. Quick line. Oh, what a one! Look at this. We stand tall, sir. We need to remove these remnants of the German forces here that have pestered us. They've been a thorn in our side for decades. Let's begin. Get those stakes up, lads. Get those stakes up. Here they come, here they come. Track them, lads, track them. That's a wonder. Oh, look at all that. That's a lot of... Got to break these flanks here. We've got these gentlemen on the flanks here as well. Let's get them into position. Actually, we can move them here. Look at these pikemen here. Shots. Square. They're shaken. Shattered. Into those pikemen. Into those pikemen. Are they broken? They're broken. These pikemen have been an absolute menace. Look at these pikemen have just done absolute so much damage to us. It's unbelievable. Oh, surely not. Surely not, sir. Come on, deal with these conscripts, gentlemen, for goodness sakes. Oh my good... What? How is this even... How have they broken our lines here? That is an absolute scandal. Right, danger close. Let's do this. Oh, these pikemen have destroyed this entire line. The Marines will take care of them. The Marines will take care of them. Come on now, lads. Deal with these gentlemen. Deal with them. They're gone at last. By the skin of our teeth. Come on, get into them. Lincoln into the fight there, sir. Oh, goodness me, that was close. Heroic victory by the skin of our teeth, dare I say. I'm not fooling anybody by saying that was a good fight. Wow. Oh gosh, that's all they've got, 323 remaining. Wow, what a fight that was. Absolutely vanquished them there, sir.
Forward.
We've got one more army to deal with, and that's this one here. We'll see what happens with this one now. Where would it head for? If it heads for this army here, but we've got this one blocking it here. We've also got plenty of forces here as well, moving into position. But we've got to use the Marines here. We've got to deal with these forces here. We've got this. But my goodness me, the Russians have got a vast amount here.
Yes, sir.
That's a ridiculous amount of forces here. We've got to find out what's going on this way as well. So send these gentlemen up this way as well. This gentleman up there. See what happens. Alright, I think we're going to end the turn here, my friends, and see how this ends up here. I know we've got to take this fight here as well. But wait for these to be fully replenished. Let's end the turn. Let's see if Spain finally descends upon us. And we're just checking what's going on here as well. Actually, we're sending this gentleman to Europe. We've got to get him to Europe. Britain, I doubt Britain will do anything here to help us in Asia. Oh, actually, they'll do that. That'll help. And now, hopefully Britain isn't going to break its. No, not a chance. You're not getting Hungary. And Hungary is a stage post 4-hour fight. No, we're not a chance. Even though it is doing very well, the Don, by the looks of it. We've given you that. I think we're going to reject that, sir. Don't get too powerful, France. You think you can start pushing your weight around. It won't work. We kept France alive. If they move against us, then they will pay dearly for it, believe me. But we're starting now to see the coalescence here of the major forces here starting to move against us here. What will Spain do? What indeed, what will Russia do? Looks like he's moved away there. Looks like they haven't given up their attack yet. They're still moving forces in here, trying to disrupt this attack here in Hungary. We won't allow it to happen. More forces moving up to Hungary. They know what's in the works here. They know what our plans are. Of course, you can't help but see the build-up on the border there. If we have a combination of Prussia and Russia attacking us at the same time in the same spot, it's going to be tough to keep holding back those Russian forces because there's just so many Russian forces. I can't believe how many forces Russia have. That is staggering. We've got Germany now. Oh, look at that. They're abandoning all their holdings in the west here. But they're coming to meet us possibly here in Bosnia. An interesting tactic here. And they've readjusted their forces here, defending forces. Obviously, they've moved forces around here. Don't be silly. Don't be silly.
Virtue, mighty, valor, and unconquered.
We're not going to allow it to happen. We will not allow it to happen. Naples, whom we have to keep hemmed in here. Mughal Empire, Afghanistan, Ottoman Empire. What will they do? Italian states, Russia. Here we go. This is the real key question. There's two major questions to be answered here. What will Russia do? What will Spain do? Both are good. Oh my goodness me, they're sending more forces down here. If we hadn't blocked off that port there, those Russian forces would definitely be heading our way. Actually, oh, they're pulling back. They're pulling back to Vilnius. What will Spain do? Nothing of yet, but I don't understand what they're doing here, but nothing from Spain just yet. Oh, good grief, that's a lot of forces they've got on the move here, and of course, look in Portugal. Sweden moving away here, and we don't even think about it. Sweden, do not even think about it. What Venice will do, attacking our holdings here, but that's all they're going to do. That's absolutely fine. Looks like we've taught them a lesson here. The fight for Mesopotamia, which I think, my friends, will take next episode. That really was quite the fight there. We have, as you can see here, those mortars are an absolute menace, but we do have, fortunately, we've put together quite a very good strike force. We've got plenty of cannon here, which will do. Actually, they don't have any defences. This is going to be us attacking into an open city, effectively, which means the mortars are going to be pretty devastating for us unless we watch out what we're doing. We've got plenty of cavalry, which are going to have to target the mortars. We've also got a good complement here of line infantry. We've also brought some provisional skirmishers with us, provincial scouts, but the cannon are going to be key here. But then again, they have their own powerful howitzers as well. So again, this is going to be a very, very tough fight indeed, but one where the cavalry will probably be critical to what happens to it, and they've got a massive amount of troops, a stupid amount of troops, nearly 5,000 compared to us. They almost, well, it's 2 to 1, virtually 2 to 1 here. They outnumber us. But if we deal with the Mamluk, if we take Baghdad, the Mamluk threat is over. That means all those forces in Ankara will disappear, which means we will then only have, and I say only, of course, the Ottoman Empire to fight against. Look at all the lost income from all this raiding they're doing here. But this is the fight we're going to take next episode, my friends. And let me know what you think about what we should do in the east. Now, Russia has got a massive defensive force around Vilnius. Looks like they're pulling back to Vilnius to maybe perhaps defend Vilnius. What are your suggestions? Man, we don't have a coherent strike. We've got one force, but that is not going to be enough to deal with what looks like 4 to 5 army groups of Russian forces around Vilnius. They're quite clearly preparing to launch a massive attack in the east against us and just head straight for Warsaw, or they're prepared to dig in around Vilnius and effectively bleed us dry. Remember, we don't have the forces in the east yet. We're sending another army group to the east that'll give us 3 army groups in the east, but it's not going to be enough. You can see what we're up against, and even though the Russian forces aren't at full strength themselves, it doesn't mean we become complacent, my friends. We must be prepared. Quite clearly, they're going to be sending more and more troops to defend and also counter at what we're going to send to them. It's going to be a brutal fight in the east, it's going to be a complete war of attrition there against the Russians. Similarly, we've got Spain tippy-toeing around us at the moment. They're just it's a phony war. It's one of those situations where you're sort of dancing around each other, preparing. We know it's coming. All of us know it's coming. The Spanish war against Spain. It's inevitable because diplomatically they loathe and detest us with a passion. And I thought the Munich falling would have been the tipping point for them, but quite clearly it's not, because they know that we also have forces on the border defending. But I'm going to leave it to you, my friends, to decide. And also, what do we do if we do take Paris in the future? Do we give it back to France? Similarly, do we sue for peace with Germany to give ourselves a breathing space, or do we launch that attack in the Balkans, taking Croatia, and then from the west, and then moving from north down south using the Marine Corps to sort of push in? Let me know what you think, my friends. But this will be the battle we'll have next episode. We're going to start to sort of try and clear some of our enemies up, try and remove the German forces that are still loitering around our territories in the west. We want to completely clear them of all German forces. So we've got a clear open roads, infrastructure is clear, all the roads are clear, so we can move forces from east to west, vice versa. So we've got to be absolutely on top of our game here. And to do that, I need your advice, my friends. I need that advice. Get it down in the comments. I've had wonderful advice this last episode. It was absolutely phenomenal. Your advice is what's keeping this campaign progressing as it is. Because otherwise we'd have probably been swamped. Without your help, we would have been swamped without a shadow of a doubt. I'm not just saying that either. Genuinely, without your help, we would have been swamped. Now, that said, we've got a lot of preparation to do. I think our next major war is going to be against Russia. Even though their territory isn't as vast as it usually is, or should be, because of course the Germans have great swathes of it, that doesn't mean it's going to be any easier for us to take and indeed hold those cities. But let me know what you think, my friends. Anyway, whatever you're doing, please be safe, my friends. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend, and hope you enjoy this episode. And again, as always, please keep your comments coming down below. But whatever you're doing, my friends, please be safe. Till next time, bye for now.